Hi, Shelley. This is Shelley
Hi.
Park, our leader of our Let's Talk Race group. And today we're going to get some background information to tell you a little bit more about it. Shelley, could you tell us what is the problem that Let's Talk Race addresses?
Thanks, Michelle. Let's Talk Race is actually, the name of it is Let's Talk Race, a beginner's guide to conversations about race. And I think what we're finding in America is a lot of white people don't know what's going on right now about race. They're curious, they're wondering why this is such a big deal. And mostly because we're taught not to talk about race. It's kind of a taboo subject. We can talk about lots of other things really well, but when it comes to race, we were shushed as young children and said, we don't talk about that. And so we don't know how. And so that's what this class is about.
Awesome. You know, you have a personal interest in race. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and why you're interested in this?
Yeah, so my husband David and I have two kids. Samuel is biological, looks a lot like both of us, but Jeremiah's adopted, and he is part Nigerian, so he kind of sticks out a little bit. But so I've been listening to this conversation a long time, and it was about 4 or 5 years ago when Philando Castile was shot in his car with his 4-year-old daughter in the back seat, having done nothing wrong, that I kind of woke up and said, something's not right. And so I like most of you right now, started listening and learning and hearing other voices about what's going on in America. And last fall, when Tatiana was shot in her home with playing video games with her nephew, the Lord said, it's time, Shelley, for you to take the next step and start speaking up and start telling people the things that you've learned. And so that's why I'm here.
So you're beginning this group, Let's Talk Race. Can you talk about what will be covered in that group?
Yeah, so we're going to get a lot of information. We go over a lot of history of how race was created. We talk about what the Bible says about race or doesn't say about race. We talk about our privileges. We talk about what are our natural responses to conversations about race and how to kind of move past those. And, you know, my analogy is when you go run a race, whether it's a 5K or a marathon, you go to the front and there's a tent over to the side and they're handing you packets of information, have the map and your number and those kinds of things. And that's where I am. I'm here at the start of this race and I'm handing you information. And so it's a lot of dates and facts and that sort of thing. But the real process is you running the race, is you listening and learning and finding out what your role is in this conversation, specifically in America regarding race.
Thank you. That's a great explanation. Who would Let's Talk Race be for?
Well, it's really for everyone. I think anyone can come to this class and learn something because this is history we were not taught. And there are facts and ideas that most of us have never heard before. So I think anyone would benefit, but it is geared towards the dominant culture because we are lacking in this conversation, honestly. And so we talk a lot about what it means to be a white person. What does that culture look like? And those kinds of things. And so I think that is probably the primary target, but again, everyone is welcome.
Thank you so much for talking with me today, Shelley.
Thanks, Michelle.
You can find all the details on how to find the next Let's Talk Race group right below in the caption.